So hello, I'm Al Mooney. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Professional Video Editing here at Adobe, which means my job, among many other things, basically involves looking after the Premiere Pro product, being responsible for its long-term roadmap and the sort of shorter-term tactical priorities of the feature set that we put in the product. It's a very exciting job to do. It's my responsibility really to be as engaged with the editing community as possible. And actually I think that's something that we at Adobe would say we're sort of proud of how much we do. I think being open and engaged with the community is crucial in terms of how we can confirm that we're building the right products for the right market. And I think if you look at, specifically with Premiere Pro, if you look at the incredible market growth we've seen over the last 3 to 4 years, that's really testament to what we do. You know, that's testament to how passionate we are about making a product that responds to editors' requests and needs and solves their problems in innovative ways. In modern file-based production, there are many different challenges to what we used to have in older-fashioned workflows, and Premiere Pro is built from the ground up to be a very powerful file-based editor. We've been 64-bit native since CS5 for several years, and we have been championing this notion of native media format support from day one. What that means is, if you're a Premiere Pro user, and the numbers of Premiere Pro users is increasing all the time, the notion of transcoding media before you can edit it doesn't exist. You just don't need to do that. So we can take pretty much any camera format and we can take it in natively and we can cut it straight away. We can mix camera formats, we can mix frame rates and media types very easily. So we have a very powerful, very fast editor. We're also resolution independent. That's something I liking to remind people, because it's something that we've been doing for so long. I think maybe we forget to say it. So we've been native 4K with Red, with all the other RAW formats for a very long time. We continue to engineer Premiere Pro to offer world-class performance with those formats. And actually some of the new stuff we're talking about at the show, which I'll get to in a moment, is around using the GPU as much as possible to make the playback and the performance of those codecs, those raw, heavy, high-resolution formats, extremely smooth. So using the GPU to debayer red media, CDNG, Phantom Cine, and Canon RAW, and more formats probably to come, maybe, just means that editors can sit down, work with those high-resolution formats, and feel very, very comfortable that they're going to get great performance. In terms of the market, we moved to the Creative Cloud model in May of last year. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that. When we moved to Creative Cloud, we said to the market that the big advantage with this was going to be that we would be able to be far more aggressive with our release schedules. We'd be able to bring out feature-bearing releases much more regularly than we could before, and respond to the changing needs of the market. And as we know, this is a very fast-changing market, so it was crucial. And we've really delivered on that. In fact, in 2013, last year, we put 4 feature-bearing releases of Premiere Pro out, 4. So we worked hard. And here at IBC, we're announcing the next versions, the forthcoming versions of our CC releases. So new versions of Premiere Pro, which I'll focus on mainly, but also After Effects, SpeedGrade, Media Encoder, Audition, all of our creative audio and video products. So it's a big show for us. So what are we talking about at this show? Well, like I say, new versions of all the products. Really very proud to be talking about the numbers. We now have over 2.3 million Creative Cloud subscribers. And we are in our 5th year of double-digit growth in the professional video space. So, the number of broadcasters who've adopted Premiere Pro as their primary editing platform is staggering, and we're very proud of it. We're also really starting to penetrate the very high end. So we're really proud. We're probably talking about this a little bit too much, but we're so proud of it, we have to. That the last David Fincher movie, which is coming out, I believe, on the 3rd of next month, was edited, a fully edited, 100% in Premiere Pro. Incredibly complex project, tens up to possibly 100,000 media files, shot in 6K, finished in 5K, incredibly complex with multiple, it was like 8, I believe at one point we had 80% dynamically linked After Effects compositions, which is pretty staggering. And it was a very successful project, so that's fantastic. But also in broadcast, I mean, we were the primary editing platform for the World Cup in Brazil. which is very exciting, even though England didn't win. Still very exciting. And very active in many other sort of sports, news, and so on. Like I say, new versions of all the products in the show. The big sort of the big elements that we wanted to look into for Premiere Pro this time around were around media management and media discoverability. I talked about Gone Girl. That's an example of a very large project. But with the explosion of media capture and the incredible amount of stuff people have to work with these days, helping make media more manageable and more discoverable is very important. So you'll see many features around that. Most notably, we have a feature called Search Bins, which allows you to create if you like, a virtual bin in your project that responds to a metadata-based search. So you get aliases of media inside that bin. It's live, so the more as you bring more media in, that's going to update that search bin and give you access to that media, make it very easy to find. We also have much improved timeline search. So when you're working with enormous timelines, being able to find something quickly, or being able to find this clip name or this codec or whatever it might be quickly and easily is crucial. So those are some of the areas where, in the editing pipeline, we've focused on improved metadata handling and media management. Also, excuse me, also at the back end of a project, when you're finishing, a new feature we have is what we call consolidate and transcode. And that's, when you're working with very large projects of multiple media formats, at the end, when you want to archive, you probably don't want to keep all these gargantuan raw files because it's expensive to store them, and you probably don't need all of that stuff. So this new feature allows you to transcode all the media in a project to a single known intermediate format. It might be DNxHD, it might be ProRes. We actually now, another new thing is that we now have full encode-decode support for the GoPro Cineform format on both Mac and Windows. So it's a great choice for archive. It's also just a great choice for performance improvements. It's a fantastic codec. So consolidate and transcode lets you package up your finished project, archive it to a known format. It's also great if you're integrating with external systems, like let's say a color grading application that maybe doesn't have the depth of format support that Premiere Pro has. You can transcode it all to that single thing and pass it further down the pipeline. Also, we focused, the sort of second key focus was on collaborative workflows. So you'll see huge improvements in our multiple project workflows. Things like being able to browse a project in the media browser to very easily grab elements from other projects and bring them into your existing one. Things like being able to preview sequences from other projects, see an actual timeline of that sequence and grab particular elements before importing. And that's awesome it's awesome for a number of reasons, but one of the primary use cases is for multiple editors working on shared storage. If I'm editor A and I need to access editor B's stuff, it's much easier for me to browse to that editor's project and bring elements in. So huge improvements in multiple project workflows. And like I say, the continued sort of passion for making 4K and beyond, and it really is and beyond. Like I said, Gone Girl was a 5K, shot in 6K, edited in 5K project. Just making sure that the performance with those new raw formats is phenomenal. Improvements to masking and tracking. We now have a free draw Bezier pen tool, better master clip effects. The list goes on. It's an enormous release. Other things at the show, that's kind of probably the big thing, and that's my product, so the thing I probably talk most about. But a new version of Prelude with improved tagging and better rough cutting. A great new version of SpeedGrade with significant performance improvements around direct link, and the addition of the curves feature, which is probably the loudest feature request we've had for SpeedGrade for a couple of years now, and so curves is there, and people are responding very well to it. Better layer grouping, and so on and so forth. Oh, and hover preview in SpeedGrade as well. There's a new After Effects version, a new Audition version. Media Encoder has some new cloud publish capabilities. We're always making sure that we leverage the Creative Cloud as much as possible. It really does offer some fantastic workflow enhancements. So we're very excited to be at the show. We're really looking forward to getting these releases out, continuing to innovate, continuing to really ensure that we're the market leader in this space, and like I say, responding to what editors need and hopefully making a product that people really like to use.